Hey y'all, what's up? Big Wooly here, and welcome back to another episode of our FTB Skies Expert Let's Play. Now, some of you are like, where are you? That's not your base. Well, I talked about it. I started on it. I'm not happy. I don't like this giant square that I ended up with, so I'm going to try to shape it more, but it's 4 blocks deep from where we're standing, so we can dig down a little to hide things, move things, and then in front of me, I have this god-awful monstrosity of shapes, which I hope to turn into my new base. So I've started with a block palette. I've got some shapes done. I got dirt and grass and whatever else down. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so this is what I'm thinking for block palette. Door, some pillars, some other stuff, some framed fences. We may not use the black mangrove for the fences. We may try to find something a little more contrast because there's a lot of gray here, but lots of different grays. And it looks like there's some brownish hues and some greenish kind of hues in there, so I'm not real sure. Still not sold on the fence for the trims, but the idea is the house is going to go up here. So like our main house with, crafting tables and whatnot and all that just fun jazz is going to go up here. And then down beneath it is all hollow. I got room for days in here for setting up mechanism auto crafting. I'm thinking centered on the top of this pyramid, which will definitely get blended into the terrain as we go. We're going to put our AE2 controller thing set up there so we can have channels and stuff. It's going to be sticking out the top, and we're going to try to tie that into the base design. And then this large room right here is going to be great for getting all of our fluids and materials and everything we need set up, tied into AE2. There may end up being a couple of levels in this giant space, but eventually it will be closed off to the outside so that you can only get in here from underneath or with some of the teleportation stuff. So without any further ado, I am going to try and figure out a basic layout for a house, because we got to start with somewhere to move our storage and stuff to, so that we don't have to keep going back and forth. So give me a few minutes to get my inventory and some materials together, which will only be a second for you guys, and we'll get on with it. All right, y'all, so I gathered some materials, played around with the block palette a little more. I found these right here. These are kind of neat. Brick bordered deep slate. So the way these things work is like, however big of a shape you make out of them, they draw a border around the edge with brick, and then it's like a polished deep slate look in the middle here almost. I think that's polished. I'm not sure where that texture's from. But anyways, I kind of like that for the floor inside our house. It's going to keep things a little, I guess, cleaner than the brick. So the plan right now is this is going to be like, think of it like a giant plantation kind of house with wraparound porch. So I'm thinking like this whole brick area all the way around the outside, we're going to make like a porch. Like, we'll put some benches and some chairs and whatnot. So anyways, this is general shape, and next, we are going to start trying to outline the house with some of the brick mangrove stuff. I'm going to go ahead and make some of them that don't have the red ends showing for capping things off, because I don't think I'm going to use the red at all in the build. So I'm going to build some more and come show you when I've got more done. Outline? Question mark? I kind of like it. Had a little issues with some spacing and all of that stuff, but I think I got it sorted. So the pillars are going to anchor a sloped roof that'll come off the first level. Not sure if I'm going to put a second story on it. If I do, it'll be smaller. The structure, as you guys saw, L-shaped. So I'm going to keep fleshing it out, put some more, bits and bobs in, and start working on getting it to look presentable. Some windows with the windows we have on our block palette down there. Maybe a door out the back. And I'll be back to check in again. All right, y'all. So here's what I have so far. that is a roof on it. I think I'm going to go sticking with that size right there. Still got to finish doing some decorating and everything else, but I don't want to make this whole episode just about a new base build, because quite frankly, I don't think you guys want to watch me place blocks and break it, repeatedly for hours on end. So we're going to leave this as is for now, and we're going to move on with a little bit more of our progression towards Venus. So for our Ostrom space plating block, we need liquid lithium. We're going to need lead plates, which we can do. What else are we going to need? Ostrom space plating. We're going to need a ton more of this. All right, let's look at my clipboard. Because I don't think I showed the clip yet, but we will insert it here. I got the unlimited creative lava done. So we need to utilize it. We're going to need to make that the ultra mouth thick lava, whatever it is. We're going to need to make that, and we're going to need to make some of all of the liquid elements. And I have that here on the clipboard. Refinery for liquid elements, liquified source. Then we need a better source battery, and then we need drawers for all the fluids we're making. These are 3 things I want to work on. Let's focus on the refinery for liquid elements, which we're going to need to proceed, and that ultramafic lava stuff, which we will use our infinite lava for. So give me a minute and let me figure out where I'm going to put all this at the new base, and I will gather the materials and we will go through those next steps. All right, y'all. So in preparation for our ultramafic lava that we have to do in the thermal evaporation chamber, just temporarily because it's all going to get moved, but I brought the creative tank that we got from the quest reward over here. I have it going into orange, orange, orange on an ender tank. I also am feeding it into a drawer, which doesn't have any upgrades or anything yet, but that's fine. That way it'll be represented in our storage controller once we move everything over to the new base. That's kind of how we're going to do most of our fluids. We're going to have them generated wherever we set them up. We'll feed an ender tank, which will then get tied into AE2, and then AE2 will be where we extract things from, because we can have these drawers with giant buffers of fluids in them. And yeah, it'll be great. So now, the next thing we need to do is we've got to make a giant evaporation plant thing. It needs to be a formed height of 18 for the lava stuff that we're doing. And I've already got 15 here, and I have made everything we need. So let's go up here and finish up our 18 tall doohickey. Let's see. Toss that there. So 16, 17, 18. Now, we want to heat this up or whatever, so let's put our solar panel up here as part of the structure. And now that should still be a formed thing, right? Or do I need to turn that another way? Okay, we've put one in there. We'll see if it's the right way. Now let's go make it daytime and see if this thing, that shows a formed height of 18. Heck yeah. All right, we need to go, I've moved my bed, so I have to go to the new base to skip the day. Or the night. Got these villagers trying to take over my bed. No respect. No respect at all. All right. And then now we should be able to get back home. Or old home. Or still home. I don't know. We're in the process of moving, okay? Cut me some slack. All right. So there is our gigantic thermal evaporation plant. We're going to need some more orange dye. So let's grab that out. 1 tall should give us 4, which is more than enough for another tank. Cool, and we'll just toss that extra back in our storage when we're back in range. There's our flower pouch. Okay, so now, toss down another ender tank. Preferably closer to where we want it to be. Get this out of our way. Orange, orange, orange. Should be full of lava. There it is. We're going to pipe the lava in. And this should, there we go. Ultramafic lava, whatever that means. But it looks like we are good and converting it at a crazy fast rate. There we go. So now we're going to need to be able to move this stuff around because I have a feeling we're going to need it out at the new base. So let's do, since it's green, let's just go with green, green, green. Let me grab out my flower pouch again and get us some green dye. Although I think we should have plenty of green dye in storage if we come over here. Let's see. Green, yes. Okay, we can put that orange up. We can toss these things in there. Yep, all right. So now if we were to set you to green, 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 I don't think there's anything on that frequency. Nope, okay. So now that's going to get us this fancy smancy lava being generated as we need it from our infinite lava source. Yep, this thing's going to hold, gosh, a lot of lava. Cool. Well, that gets us this, which we needed for something. Where was it? Let's go look at uses. So in the fabrication matrix for making Venus blaze rods, we're going to need it for making our turbines, for our in-portal frames, nice, fission reactor casings, turbine casings, in the advanced mixer for our uranium crystals. That was the thing that we needed it for currently because that's our only way to get to uranium to start with until we get to this crazier stuff later. So that was why we went down that road. Then we needed our refinery controller and our refinery output to make our liquid elements. So that was the next step we were going to do. I think we can go ahead and set this up at the other end. I'm gonna need a couple more ender tanks made up real quick. So let me get those ender tanks made up. Let me get the stuff together, and I'll meet you guys out at the new base, and we will work on setting up the refinery controller somewhere out there. All right, y'all, before we can head over, we're gonna need to get liquified source in an ender tank so that we can have access to it out there. And well, it's purple, so we'll put it on purple, purple, purple. Now, let's go grab a pipe and a wrench. Configurator, sorry. So this, as long as our mob farm is chunk loaded and running, will continue to be fed the liquefied source. Perfect. So now we've got our liquefied source for a refinery. Let's head out to the new base, and we are going to get started on setting up the refinery out there. All right, Al, so the plan is eventually going to be for all this to be much more blended than these shapes that I've made, and we'll have a lot of the big machines and crafting and whatnot hidden under here. So since the refinery output is tall, we're going to set up our refinery stuff over here in the much larger area. So because we're going to have several refineries set up. I don't even honestly know. It's going to be a lot total based on what I was looking at for all the resources that we're going to just need to have being made for us. That's one of the things about packs like these is if you've got to make something once, a lot of times you got to make a lot of it. So we're going to need to get some of this stuff going, or the tail end of this pack that we're quickly approaching is going to be, once a week uploads because I'm having to AFK in the world to get the resources we need, and that's no fun for anybody. All right, so liquefied source in the refinery controller requires a temperature greater than or equal to 100, so nothing special, and we feed it liquefied source. We're going to get 4 outputs, one of each of the elements. So we need to get this one block up off the ground, and it's going to need something under here. Maybe a blaze burner. I don't honestly know in the long run, but for now, we're going to put a log there, just for the fun of it. And we will replace it with our heat source later. So here is our refinery controller. And then the refinery is one of those pneumaticraft pieces that doesn't take pressure, it just takes temperature for it to run. So we've just got to get the right amount of heat under it. We need to get this up and over 100 C. And then we're also, in order to, I think we need to insulate the faces on it to make sure that it retains that heat. So let's go get some thermal lagging. Didn't bring any of that with me. And yeah, so we will bring it back. You know, what we could do is I could just quickly steal our disk drives and move it back over there. Oh, let's address the elephant in the room. In between episodes, I was working on some stuff, and I got tired of having to make things by hand. So yes, this is a single pattern provider with 5 molecular assemblers, actually 6 molecular assemblers all the way around it. No upgrades in them yet, but it's fast enough, and it was mainly because I wanted to make some flux points, and I didn't want to have to sit here and craft the cores over and over, so I put in the recipe so you can tell our system to make a flux point, and if I had enough ender cores in there, it would. We're going to work on getting all the rest of that automated, but this is just a god-awful toss it here because I didn't want to have to do all that craft by hand setup. And then here is our CPU for it. We've got a 16K crafting storage, a coprocessor, and a couple of crafting units to make a full, actual crafting block. Because you need this, the pattern provider, and then here's our encoding terminal, as you can see, where we made our pattern. And then here is our pattern access terminal, where I can put things in and out of that molecular assembler. So this will all get moved, and I can do some more explaining on setting up pattern providers on machines and various other things as we move forward. I'm kind of debating whether I take this with me for now, but I think we'll just leave it. What did we come back for? We came back for a blaze burner. Do I have one? Yes, I do. Okay. And then we came for thermal lagging. We're going to need more than that. Let's make some more. That's 19. I don't know how many faces. So 4 faces on 4 blocks, 16, 17, 18. Well, there's a couple other elephants in the room I guess we can address while we're here. So one of those elephants is the storage disk. Did I go over it? I made a 64K disk because with our portal to Alfheim, that got us access to Alf Glass. Alf Glass is just mana glass tossed into the Elven portal. So if we go with some glass here, we can go through that whole process together real quick. Well, I literally have one piece of glass, but that's more than enough to demonstrate. So you get your mana glass by, oh my gosh, now I got to smelt glass because I've misplaced it and I don't have silk touch. No, this is my life. Sand. This is why we're moving, because I will be able to set all this up and be like, hey, I need glass, and it'll send it to a furnace for me and smelt it. It's going to be great. Okay. So, glass. We queue it in, toss it in there. And as you'll see, now we have mana glass. And if we take the mana glass and say, hey, elves, can I get some of your cool glass? They toss it back and give us the Alf glass. We needed that Alf glass for the disc housing. Hold on, wherever it is. This one. You have to have the Alf glass for the 64K housing so that it can be the deep storage that doesn't have item type requirements. So I made one of those off camera by tossing some glass into the portal to Alfheim. So that is definitely something I had intended to cover today. And yeah, so we have a 64K disc now and 3 16s. If we can make a disk manipulator, we can probably pull everything off of these and then combine these 3 into another 64K and have 2 64Ks instead of having to have a bunch of 16Ks in our storage. So there's that. And then we came here for something. What did we come here for? The blaze burner, the thermal lagging. That should be enough, but we were going to make a little bit extra just to be safe. Thermal lagging. Cool. We're probably going to need some tanks. Let's go. Yeah, there's 3 tanks right there. 1, 2, 3. Let's make one more because there's 4 elements. And we've got mechanical pipes. We're going to need something to feed that guy. Let's go with a straw. Actually, he may not even need fuel. He may be hot enough to heat it just without fuel. But we'll do it anyways. A straw, and then do we have any bio or do we have any diesel? We do have some diesel. We'll grab a few buckets of diesel to take with us. Cool. And back to the new base. I will be moving all this stuff around once we get things going. I just wasn't sure where I was going to build my house when I first started with this massive plot of land that ended up being way bigger than I wanted it to be, but it makes it a little easier for getting around. You don't have to worry about falling into the void all the time when it's one big land mass. So we can take out our temp log, and then what we can do is we can misplace our blaze burner. That's an important step right there. You have to place it wrong before you can place it right. Now let's grab our thermal lagging, and we will go on all the sides of this except the one that we're going to import in. Okay. Now we need our tank of liquefied source, so we can go right here with that. And it needs to be on purple, purple, purple. And we need a pipe. We tell it to pull the liquefied source into here. Now we just got to get our temperature up. It looks like if we get this insulated on all these faces, we'll be good. Now the hardest part's going to be, I don't want this to connect to the next one, so let's do this instead. That way I don't mix anything up, and I can take and put this lagging, and then if we take a pipe, that's going to insulate all those faces. And then if we throw some lagging on the top, now they're all insulated. And we just need to break the connections in between each of these. Push, pull, none. Push, pull, none. Cool. So that is going to get our refinery controller going. Now, is this going to climb? Let's see. Will it be enough? Doesn't really matter if it's enough because I can just... Oh gosh, no, I can't do that. Got to give him the straw first. Give the guy a straw. There we go. And so that will get this running. And there are our elements. Now let's get our tanks on here. Tell it can extract. You know, I have regrets about not getting on top of this stack here. All right. There's that. And then we will tell you to extract. Oh, God, I broke it. No. Quick. Put it back together. Okay. We're almost there. Don't panic, Wooly. Don't panic. And always know where your towel is. There we go. That was what I meant to do the first time. We should have one more tank, which is an ultimate, but it was what we had in storage. And there we have it. We're now generating all 4 liquid elements of air, and we are getting our liquefied source from our farm over at our base that is constantly generating. This is likely to retain enough heat for a really long time since all of the faces are insulated. So, you know, as long as it's still processing, it should run off of those, 3 buckets of force infused for a while. We have force infused on a ender tank frequency. So what we can do is we can bring an ender tank frequency, an ender tank out here on that frequency to get started with everything else. That's going to be kind of how we have to do a lot of this stuff, is we're going to have to use our existing infrastructure, leave it in place to power us setting everything up out here. But that was why I went ahead and brought this one out, is because this was a completely new one. So it didn't need any of the other setups we already had going. What I will likely do in between this episode and the next, or sometime in the near future, is I will take and replace these basic tanks with ender tanks for those to get them where they need to go. Or once we get our AE2 out here, I might just come in and replace all of this with import buses and have these. The idea is to have these, as the clipboard says, long term, we are going to have drawers for all the fluids we're making. So the ultimate goal would be to be able to just slap these on import buses, have this on an export bus, and it would be feeding the source in with an export bus, and then it'll be importing each of these in with an import bus, all of it working off of our AE2. But we have to get all of that here, which, you know, is a process. It's going to take me a few days. Now, if I didn't have to try and make videos for you guys in between, sure, I could do it, you know, in a couple of days worth of gameplay. But, you know, I don't think you guys want to go 3, 4, 5 days without a video from me, just for me to be like, hey, look at all this cool stuff I did. Yeah, doesn't seem like a good idea to me. I mean, if that's what you want to see, let me know, but we will go from there. All right, how are we doing on time? Looks like we are getting pretty close to a good wrapping up point. Let's see, did I cover refinery for liquid elements? Liquified source, done. Didn't get to better source battery, didn't get to drawers for all the fluids we're making. Okay, let's talk about our next steps, because the next one's going to be a big one. We briefly mentioned it a minute ago, but for the, where was it? What were we working on? The uranium, right here. For the uranium crystal, we're going to need to do it in the advanced mixer. We have our ultra mafic lava, which we got to. We now have our liquid element earth that we need. We know how to make the flux infused gems. We've already done those. Let's take a look at these lead crystals, because this one is a doozy, I do believe. So for this one, we are going to need to make lead slurry, which is going to be done in a dissolution chamber, which needs sulfuric acid, which we're already making at the other base, and then we feed it raw lead. So I'm probably going to, it doesn't look like I can bring in the processed lead either, so it's going to have to be in the raw form. So I'm going to go tell the controller to not export the lead anymore. That way we can have some of it in there, because right now I don't think we have that much raw lead in our setup. That raw lead is going to have to go through quite the process. It's going to go on a ride. It's going to have to be processed in a chemical dissolution chamber with our sulfuric acid into a dirty lead slurry, which then we're going to use a chemical washer and water to turn into a clean lead slurry. Then we get to use a chemical crystallizer to turn it into a lead crystal. All of this so that we can make uranium to move along with the pack. So quite a bit of process to get set up there. I'll do my best in between today and tomorrow to get all of those pieces. Well, actually, so this will be Saturday's video. I'll do my best between today and Monday to get all those pieces put together so that on Monday's video, we can kind of walk through the setup and process of all of that. Hopefully, I'll be able to get a bunch of this stuff moved out here and set up at the new base so that we don't have to keep bouncing back and forth during the episode. So, as I said, I think that's going to bring us to a wrapping up point. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's episode. I've had fun working on this base build. I've got a lot more still to do. I know it's kind of basic. Basic. You see what I did there? Anyways, so thank you guys for watching. And if you like this, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're coming back time and time again to watch these episodes and you still haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and click it for me. I'm creeping in on that 500 subscriber mark, and I would love to get there. And I need your help. So thanks for watching. You guys have a great